Where we're going, we don't need roads.
I love this movie so much, so it's so cool to be able to talk with you guys. I actually heard about this premise before I saw the movie a couple of months ago, I think, when it was going to premiere at one of the film festivals. And as I was watching the movie, one of the things I thought was like, oh, it would have been so great to watch this and not know where it was going. So whenever I present it to my audience, I'm going to try to kind of, I guess, hide a little bit of what the hook is. When you guys cracked the script open for the first time, did you know sort of what the hook was when you started reading, or did it sort of hit you when you were a few pages in?
Well, I had a meeting with the directors first, and obviously they give you the full picture. So it wasn't like, here's a secret script. Um, but it was still exciting to see it unfold. And then obviously in every step of the process, you see what the aliens look like and, how they're attacking you, etc. So it was still exciting to read.
It's been so long since I've had that, like, to remember that initial reaction to this script, and the way it unfolded in the script. But similarly, it was I kind of knew the hook going into it and was excited to see how it played out in the detail. And I thought it was so smart and funny. And I am truly shocked we're talking about the hook. We've been talking about it a lot, but before it premiered at Sundance, I feel like we tried to keep let's not talk about the poofs. Let's not talk about let's just leave it with they turn off their technologies and something happens. But it's such a good hook that I think it's so relatable and so enticing to get people to see it. So.
Thinking about sort of the great hook to this, if there was someone who went out into the woods, let's call it February, and they were just now emerging and had no idea sort of what's gone on the last 6-7 months, what would be the hardest thing to try to explain and be all right, here's a weird thing that happened. What would be the biggest thing to sort of be guess what happened?
You can't be within 6 feet of anyone, or you have to stay truly distant from your parents and your best friends and people in your life, because there's a deadly virus. That is truly apocalyptic. It's crazy to wrap your head around, even though we've all been living in it for a while. Right. But I could not have anticipated or imagined that this is going to be the backdrop for our movie, and it is.
It'd be a shock. It'd be to just rip the Band-Aid off and tell someone, because I live in Brooklyn, and obviously we were hit the hardest by the pandemic, and I remember seeing the first mask someone was wearing outside of my neighborhood, and I was like, that's crazy. Is that going to be normal? And then 1 week later, you're mad if somebody doesn't have a mask, and it's so normal, and it happened so fast. But it was a gradual progression into where we are now. So I can't imagine having to rip that Band-Aid off and be wearing a mask and talking to someone you missed a lot, pal.
There were more murder hornets. It was the whole thing. They came and then they went. And as we wrap up, not to get into to spoilers too much, but I loved how you guys handled the ending of this, and I loved a little bit of the ambiguity. And I'm just sort of curious, without sort of spoiling what happens, whenever an ending like that is sort of left to be ambiguous and you don't really know what direction, do you guys sit and talk about what happens after we cut to black? Have you guys figured out what the next hour of their lives are going to be?
I kind of feel like it will just be the same dynamic. It'll be like the movie, but in the pod, because we are, as much as we think we evolve and are evolved creatures, we go right back to our I don't know, comforts and patterns and habits. But I wish we could talk about it more with people after screenings or festivals or whatever. But it's been the nature of the timing that I would love to hear a discussion. I'd love to hear an hour-long discussion about it. Better be good. Yeah. But
it's cool knowing that I can have a completely different opinion of what will happen or theory than the directors. So I guess that's why I like that. Open-ended.
sure.
And I know that's not for everyone, but for me, yeah, I like that.
I like it. I like a movie that leaves you
like
thinking
that.
about it and discussing it like hours, days, weeks, months after you've seen it. So seriously, thank you for giving that to me. I needed this movie last night in my life. So seriously, thank you so much. And
Aw.
really, it's a pleasure to meet you guys. And hopefully next time we all meet, it'll get to be in person.
Oh,
Glad you
thanks,
enjoyed
Jake.
it. Thanks,
I did
Jake.
very much so. Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye, Jake. You
You
too.
too.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.